These were American soldiers who blatantly defied military orders. They were supposed to charge the front line 10 minutes ago, but at this moment, they disobeyed orders and stood still. The officer angrily asked why they weren't moving.
Waiting for what?
Private Doss to finish praying for us, sir.
Private Doss is praying for you. Who the hell is Private Doss?
After Doss finished praying, the captain finally gave the order to launch the attack. This is a true story. In 1941, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, forcing the United States to become involved in the war, and the country began recruiting soldiers on a massive scale. His name was Doss, and he was known in the military camp for being unusual. On the first day of enlistment, while everyone else was receiving their rifles, he remained indifferent. He said he had sworn never to touch a gun. Going to war without a gun was no different from walking to your death. It turned out that Doss had suffered from domestic violence as a child. As an adult, he had almost shot and killed his father in a moment of anger, as he was trying to resist his father's abusive behavior. Overcome with guilt, he made a vow to his faith to never touch a gun again. However, when the war came, he didn't hesitate to enlist, but he only wanted to serve as a medic. No matter how much his drill instructor insulted or ridiculed him, he would not pick up that rifle. The instructor had no choice but to take him to the captain's office. In front of the captain, Doss not only refused to pick up the gun but also told him that as a Christian, he wouldn't participate in training on Saturdays as it was the Sabbath. The captain laughed and decided to discharge him for being mentally unstable. But after speaking with the military doctor, it became clear that Doss was mentally sound. However, to the captain, weak individuals had no place in the military, so he instructed the instructor to make things difficult for Doss, thinking that he would leave on his own. As a result, Doss was assigned to scrub toilets every day and given the dirtiest and most exhausting tasks in the camp. The other soldiers constantly bullied him, verbally attacking him. Sometimes, when the officers were in a bad mood, they would flip his bed and curse at him, punishing him along with the other teammates. Eventually, his teammates began to resent him. One night, a few soldiers dragged Doss out of bed while he was sleeping and gave him a brutal beating. Doss, covered in injuries, curled up in a corner. One soldier, seeing his bruised face, asked him why he didn't leave, but Doss remained silent. The next day, when the officer inspected the barracks, he saw that Doss' pillow was soaked with blood. Following the gaze of the other soldiers, the officer noticed Doss' bruised face. The officer, feeling a bit guilty, tried to persuade him to leave, but Doss said he would stick to his beliefs. The officer had no choice but to ask Doss to identify who had beaten him. Doss, however, said it was because he had fallen. Seeing his resolute and unyielding attitude, the officer said nothing more. But life only got harder for Doss. He was thrown into the officer's prison. The usually gentle Doss could no longer bear it. For the first time, he lost his temper, pounding the bars of the cell in a frenzy to release his pain. His fiancée came to visit, and with tears in his eyes, he told her that he would not change his beliefs. However, the military could never accept a soldier who refused to carry a gun.